Hey, Douglas, so here for Doc Sports, and as promised, I am back here to talk about some PGA Tour golf. More specifically, the Genesis Invitational, which goes this week. Used to be the old LA Open. I wonder, one of the things I wonder, just thinking about this tournament, I wonder how many brand new blue and yellow Rams attire that we'll see in the crowd this week. I'm guessing a fair amount. Okay, whatever. If you turn into watching the tournament, that's I would think that would certainly be the case this week. Had a strong field last week at the Phoenix Open, the Phoenix Open, which I attended, and this field is going to be even stronger. Now it's an invitation only, sponsored by the Tiger Woods Foundation. So there's just 120 players that are teeing it up. 65 will make the cut, or I should say 65 in ties will make the cut. The defending champion is Max Homa. And Max finished 14th last week, and his odds actually opened at plus 5,000 to win, and they dropped to plus 4,000 last I looked. Don't know what that exactly means, but he's certainly considered to be a somewhat of a contender. Okay, from that standpoint, for those that are interested in doing that. Now, as far as the golf course goes, the Riviera is a great golf course. Plain and simple. Okay, it's hosted the tournament all but twice, except all but twice since 1973. It's a real test for golfers, to be perfectly honest. You have to use every club in the bag. You have to have a variety of skills in order to do well. It has enough length. It's 7,300 yards. There's plenty of courses that are longer, but there's a number of characteristics about the course that make it more difficult. One of the things that, for example, a lot of the sand traps are placed, or bunkers are placed in strategic locations, and so if they put the pins directly over them, and especially if they tighten it up a little bit, okay, you got to come in right over the top. And so if you hit it thin, okay, you can hit it right into the trap. And a lot of times then you don't have a lot of green to work with. So that's where the bogeys can add up a little bit on this golf course. You have to be able to hit long irons into greens. So that's going to be a must. I think there's six par fours that are 450 or more, and there's a par three that's 230. So that's got some length. There's some short holes. Okay, there's some definite birdie holes. Okay, on this course, but you got to be straight off the tee. And the one thing that's changed, and I don't think, well, like anything, it's never just one aspect. But in the last several years, let's say in the last decade, the course has favored players that hit the ball longer. That did not used to be the case because the fields were always strong here because everybody always liked this track. Let's just call it it's not a major, certainly from that standpoint, but it's in the upper crust of golf courses that pros want to play because it's a really good challenge for them, especially the top players, and so it's usually always has a good field. So with this one, you have to have, let's just say some definite skills on this one. The greens are tough, okay, to navigate. I'm not going to get into the texture of the greens, but let's just say they're harder to putt on. They're more of what you see on West Coast on the West Coast. And if you're off a little bit on your putting, well, what can happen is, what really shows up is in the mid-range putts because those get trickier. Okay, and even the short putts where the grass just grabs the ball a little bit more. Now they're still plenty fast, so if you're off target, okay, just say you misread it. I mean, it'll take it, 2-3 feet off course, okay, pretty easily. So it makes your next putt a little bit of a tester coming back. Let's see here. What else was there that's of note on the golf course? Oh, I'm sorry. I started to say that technology has taken over, it seems, and so longer hitters have definitely had an advantage in recent years, and you see that the guys that have been winning. So that's just something to keep in mind is that the longer hitters have had a definite advantage of late. Okay, on this golf course, that doesn't mean that's who's going to win. Okay, or who's going to finish in the top 10, but that has been the recent trend. And again, it has to do more, I think, with the golf balls and the equipment more than anything else. So what's it going to take to win here? Well, got to be able to get off the tee. And that's important. You have to be able to hit your accurate irons, both short and long, to avoid trouble. And if you do to get in some trouble, you have to be an above average player when it comes to scrambling. Next, you have to be able to read the greens properly in terms of the breaks and you have to have a confident stroke, okay, on this one, because that's who's going to win. Because it always comes down to who makes putts, okay, on any particular tournament. So if that's the case, if you're making the putts, okay, things can go your way. Now, as far as the field, like I said, it's absolutely loaded. I mean, it's the who's who of top players. So just to to go over some of the top players, John Rahm, of course, is the favorite. But in looking around at different things, the bloom is a little bit off the rose on him. Okay, he's the favorite every week, but he hasn't won. Okay, from that standpoint. So again, he has low odds to win. I think the last I checked was right around plus 1,000. However, even though it might not be a popular choice, he's done very well here in his last three times he's played, finishing ninth, 17th, and fifth. Patrick Cantley uh, should have won, or certainly could have won last week. And Scottsdale just missed. He's playing the golf of his life. Okay, the guy is just absolutely on fire. Um, so I think you have to consider him. And if you consider his last, well, it goes back to September. Okay, when he won the FedEx Cup, but also the in his last 24 rounds of golf, he has been in terms of the tournament 12th or better in 23 of those. So he is just on fire. So he's definitely a threat. Justin Johnson returns to action. He won here 5 years ago, and he's annually been among the leaders. Okay, hasn't played a lot, so I'm curious to see what he has to do to perform. Justin Thomas, okay, he's got his odds are fourth overall. He's picked up 12.7 shots per green, or he picked up, 12.7 shots tee to green last week. Uh, did a great job overall, just didn't putt particularly well. He's finished in the top 25 in 8 consecutive tournaments, and within that 8, 4 of them were top fives. He missed the cut, though, the last 2 years in LA. Just a little bit of concern on that one. Okay, just let you know. Okay, about that. Colin Morikawa is back in action. He's by far the most popular pick I have seen across the board from different let's say stuff I've read. Okay, about this tournament and things about the players. He has the ability to go low. Okay, and he's the best iron player on tour, which certainly is a big deal here. McIlroy has played well here in the past, finishing 20th, fourth, and fifth. He is expected to be a factor. I guess I'm just not sure if I'm ready to back him. There's a number of different other golfers that certainly can have some good stuff, and Scotty Scheffler is among the top 12. I'm just not sure what he's going to have, though. Let's just say emotionally on this one. He shot 62 on Saturday last week. Okay, he needed 21 holes to win for the first time last week in Scottsdale. So that's a lot of emotion used up. I'm not sure that he's going to be a top player to use. And Victor Hovland, who was my top player last week, he would make the cut. He was horrible last week, just all over the place, putting it in the water. I don't know. To me, he's a wild card coming into this week. So, what are we looking at this week in terms of plays? Well, I know some of you had asked for some head-to-head, so I'm going to give you something to chew on for free plays. Is that I would look to play against Abram Answer. So look for some head-to-heads in which Abram Answer is involved and play against him. He doesn't have enough length, I don't think, to compete at this golf course. And so if he's matched up against, let's just say, players at his level or higher, I don't think he's a good bet. Okay. Two other plays that I have for you. I almost did not take it, but thought about it long and hard, but to take Patrick Cantley for a top 5 finish. I want to say plus 185, but don't quote me on that exactly. But I put him down. So free play plus 185 on that one. And let's see here. I had it on. Yes, indeed. Here I'm back. Sorry for the having to do that. But the other one that I put down that I almost took was Cameron Smith. Have him at minus 135 for top 20. Now, I usually don't like to go minuses, which is the number one reason that I didn't take him for my play on a top 20. But he has the game, he has the length, he has everything that's necessary to do well. He plays well on tough courses like this. So I would consider him, okay, even just a small play, okay, at minus 135 for that. So there you go. There's everything for this week for golf. Got you some free plays. You wanted some head-to-heads, as you said, some of those that commented on the video. So there you go. You have that. So for me personally, this week, at the Doug Upstone page at Doc Sports. I got 4 plays going this week, and you can pick them all up for just $30 at Doc Sports. Having a winning season thus far. The lost a little bit last week, not much, but lost a little bit last week. But having a winning season thus far into the middle of February, and we're going to try and turn that around. Like I said, with 4 plays, which has a total of 11 units in all. So there you have it. I'll be back next week with more golf action for you. This is Doug Upstone for Doc Sports. Until next time, I'm out.